Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe to Love. Let's talk AEW Dynamite, shall we? As AEW Dynamite, I'd say, was a very, very solid show. Very solid. Top to bottom. It just hit the nail on the head. Now, if you saw my posts or short about Bryan Danielson and Ryan May, I mentioned how, they hit the nail on the head with Wednesday, and I think they really did that. As, again, going into All In last season, or last year, it was a spectacle, and as it should, but it was lacking the build a grandeur show like that needs. And, was a solid card, but again, sort of going into it. Now, it's safe to say we got the gears rolling on Wednesday, and it plus, because Blood and Guts is in a couple weeks, so they build towards that on the lead to All In or Wembley. But yeah, I think they did a solid job, and give my thoughts on it before we end this triumphant Thursday, which I'm recording this. Again, who's who of when you get this, but nonetheless, hope you guys enjoy this little review for today for AEW Dynamite on July 10th. If you did, of course, or if you do so, I should say, click that subscription. It'll be out in the corner, as well as the notification bell, as you guys can do so as please click on it. Always helps, as well as the bell. So yeah, but yeah, AEW Dynamite certainly hit the nail on the head. From Ospreay to Mariah May, laying out Toni Storm. It's hard putting words to it. We'll try to do so. So to start the show, let's start with that. So, Will Ospreay came out, and it's crazy. So last week, at the end of last week, when MJF turned against Daniel Garcia, we were saying that was great ending. And then we go to Wednesday, and holy smokes, AEW is driving momentum, and you don't need to look at the ratings to realize, if you watch the shows, you realize they're picking up steam, and that's a good thing going into what should be the biggest show of the year. And yeah, MJF laid out Daniel Garcia. He was, stretched out on a gurney. Matt Menard was bloody. He cut a solid, heartfelt promo after. And then we got Collision on Saturday. MJF opened the show, and he faked that Ospreay. He blamed everyone. And go back to when he was talking about his ADD, attention deficit disorder, and how when he was injured and when Samoa Joe came out as world champion, he kind of took offense to what crowd was chanting. So then fast forward to Wednesday, Ospreay came out, talked about the actions of Max last week, and all in all, he mentioned the Big War 2024. He talked about, yes, he has ADD, but he also mentioned that Ospreay did that he is ADHD, but it doesn't give him a reason to act like a little prick. So, all in all, he said he's in the mood for a fight. Called out MJF, and at first I thought that people thought of, well, MJF faked out the fans on Saturday with Ospreay not being there, and MJF's music hit, and he did not come out, but rather, Nigel McGuinness as well, they were playing to the fact of maybe same thing. So then we see MJF appear on the Titantron with a video. He's sitting down with a glass of wine. Talks about how he doesn't need to wrestle. He's kind of like a pawn for these people, or like a toy for those people, that, as in, he wrestles for them. But MJF says that he does not need to wrestle for them to gauge their attention. He just needs to talk. Unlike you will, and he says he's a generational talent. So MJF then ultimately turned into a challenge for next week on AEW Dynamite 250. Says that, or he laid out the challenge for next week in Little Rock. MJF vs. Will Ospreay for the International Championship, which we'll obviously enjoy, and called Max a little bitch. So there you go. So very interesting development. So I think many of us had in mind that, well, first of all, Will not being swerved and not being the wild card in the OWEN HART Cup tournament for the men, it's like, okay, where is the direction for Will going to All In? Then we thought it's MJF, and it could still be, but they're giving this match next week. Now the other thing is, they had a 4-way match, or a fatal 4-way. They call it something else, global something. On Wednesday, it was Pac, Claudio, Castagnoli, Kyle Fletcher, who, by the way, had a hilarious segment on Hate AEW. If you didn't watch it, I recommend you do, because Kyle Fletcher is hilarious. Who would have thought? So, yeah, it was Pac, Ishii, Fletcher, and Claudio. Winner would get a future TNT title shot, or international title shot, in which Pac won. So, question, and he said he wants his Wembley moment. as in, of course, Pac is from the UK, and he missed all in last year due to injuries or visa issues. In any event, yeah, Pac missed last year's Wembley show, so he's obviously going to want to get his moment this year. So, question is, A, how does Pac fare into this? Because here's the thing. MJF took out Daniel Garcia. MJF challenged Daniel Garcia. And that match was not made official. So it's totally possible that, say, it would work. And so we've seen Will Ospreay versus Pac, and it's been great. We have not seen MJF versus Pac, so we could totally see MJF beat Pac or beat Ospreay next week, and then we get MJF and Pac at Wembley. The question is, what does Will do? Now, you could easily do, well, Ospreay beats MJF and say, but off airing this heel run, I don't know if you want to have him taking a loss this early, but let's say this happens or it's a messy finish or something. You could definitely do Ospreay versus Pac, and then Daniel Garcia returns, and then you get Daniel Garcia versus MJF. Do I think that's a big enough match for MJF at Wembley? Nope, but it's in the cards. But we'll see. It's certainly, we still have over a month till Wembley, but it's certainly something to think about. But yeah, this match next week should be fun. Bryan Danielson. Now, originally, I think everyone expected this to be the main event. Bryan Danielson versus Hangman in the OWEN HART Cup tournament finals for the men. Whenever they swerve at Wembley. Now, with how Hangman has been the last week since his return, come back in this angry role, beating Jeff Jarrett, and then on Saturday at Collision in a great match against Jay White with the help of Christian Cage, leads to this match here. But for reasons I mentioned in the short, makes sense here. So, great match back and forth. So, referee gets knocked down, and Jeff Jarrett was the special enforcer. So, Hangman got his belt, proceed to whip Bryan with it to extent of choking with it. Jeff Jarrett obviously didn't like this and took offense to it, and then revealed that he had a referee shirt on. So things were obviously more serious. So Bryan then got back to the advantage. A great visual as Bryan had the lapel lock on while the belt was still around his neck. And it was interesting how when Hangman had a crossface on Bryan. Jarrett was trying to take the belt off Bryan's neck, but yeah, great main event. So Bryan eventually wins with a roll up here on page 1, 2, 3. Page was incensed and stormed to the back, and Bryan got the victory. We saw Martha Hart. Always great to see her. Saw Martha Hart and Jeff Jarrett. They were down there with the belt and the trophy, and Bryan was wearing the belt over his shoulder and helped with Jeff Jarrett to hoist the trophy. So great stuff. And Martha congratulated Bryan and saying we'll see you at Wembley for your title shot, and then the graphic appeared on the screen. Bryan for swerve made for double or Wembley bath. All in at Wembley. So like I said, the match makes more sense with Bryan because so Hangman, A, we've seen that feud already. B, I threw out the possibility last week of Bryan wins and it only makes Hangman more incensed, more crazy, and it only feeds in that character. Plus, with blood and guts around the corner, and Swerve wants to be, because he announced after in a promo, it's a very solid promo by Swerve, that he would be leading Team AEW in blood and guts, which, you know, later in the show we saw Hangman declare blood and guts. So it's like, it makes more sense. You know, he does his favor to get to Swerve, and yeah. So great stuff there. And Bryan, you know, again, Bryan in the fall will retire from full-time wrestling. It sucks, but yeah. So we're at the point where it's like, if Bryan doesn't win at All In, I think a lot of fans are going to be pissed and let down. That's just my opinion, but nonetheless, great for Bryan and great for the Owen Hart tournament. The first three winners for the men: Adam Cole, Ricky Starks, Bryan Danielson. It's hard to find three better winners for the men than that, certainly. But yeah, hell of a start for AEW Dynamite. So then I mentioned Swerve Strickland. He got a hell of a promo. Yeah, he dressed the Elites, talked about why he's been out there, mentioned Bryan, and overall a solid promo, which he needed to cut. We got an Acclaim little music video about the Elites. So Swerve and Mark Briscoe have declared for Team AEW at Blood Guts. Means there's 3 more spots. So the Acclaimed, who have been a thorn in the Elite side for weeks and weeks, I expect them to be inserted. I think we all do. Expect him to be inserted, so that leads to the 5th man. And with Darby coming back on Wednesday, having a rift with Jack Perry, it feels like with Darby and Hangman and Swerve, feels like Blood and Guts, the excitement level has reached another level. And that's great to see. So yeah, we'll see how it fares out. Samoa Joe versus Chris Jericho Stampede Street Fight. So the match was okay. The ending was the big point of reference. I mean, I didn't mind the match, but the ending was certainly the big point. So they were fighting to the back, and so Jericho threw some hot coffee. Maybe it wasn't hot, but still coffee at Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe then lead to a choke on Chris Jericho, and then from out of nowhere, Big Bill hops up from behind Samoa Joe and has a chair, and then it's all ready. So suddenly the 3-on-1 beatdown ensues, and then what happens after? So Big Bill proceeds to chokeslam Samoa Joe onto his bed connected to a forklift. And then Jericho, his deranged mind, gets into this forklift. And then they proceed to ram past this wall, this wall, and then there's like a bunch of weapons and stuff out after, and Samoa Joe proceeded to fall off the bed of the forklift, and it was certainly a unique, deranged ending for Chris Jericho. And after we saw Samoa Joe being taken to an ambulance, taken off, and Chris Jericho, a deranged look, saying, "Bye, Joe, bye, Joe." So Jericho adding another layer to his character. Again, the learning tree may be cringe to people, but this was certainly something it needed for Chris Jericho, because I've been saying for weeks, people have maybe cringe about Jericho, but Chris Jericho has been more entertaining than Orange Cassidy. It's an unfortunate thing, but this was certainly interesting. Now the thing is, so Samoa Joe played Sweet Tooth for Twisted Metal Season 1, and now it's reported that Season 2 filming will begin in a few weeks or at the end of the month. So it is totally possible that this was a way to write Joe off TV so that way he could get to filming and whatnot. And then will he be back for All In? We'll see, but we'll see how it goes. But All In, this was certainly a statement for Jericho. Get you more interested for Jericho, I would say. Samoa Joe, ever since losing the world title to Swerve, it's definitely been left to be desired. Obviously for fans, same, but yeah, this was certainly the best thing for Samoa Joe since feuding with, I'd say, Jericho, I would say. Solid move though, solid move. So we got that 4-way, Pac, Claudio, Ishii, and Fletcher. Again, like I said, so Pac won for... I think people would have cared more if there was entrances. Honestly. It's like when you go to a match, straight to a match off of that segment, it's like not even time to breathe. They were just thrusted back into the action. If we saw the entrances of Ishii, Fletcher, Pac, and Claudio, Pac's entrance right now is one of the best. It's kind of too soon in a way. So Pac won here. He had a black arrow on Fletcher, then walked in the Brutalizer, which Fletcher tapped out, and there was that. So Pac wins, and then after he grabbed the mic, saying how he's made a lot of promises since his return, but he's been met with a lot of losses. So notes how last year he missed Wembley, and that this year he will have his Wembley moment. So this is just the beginning for the bastard. So I mean, yeah, he will likely face the winner of next week's match between MJF and Ospreay. We'll see. Unless, yeah, or they could have a fluky finish and then MJF or Ospreay face Pac before the pay-per-view, but then what does Pac do? So I mean, it's, we'll see. We'll see. Mercedes Moné, she was promptly interrupted by Britt Baker as she was trying to have another celebration, but instead she was just interrupted by Britt Baker and scurried off. So there was that. Britt's been tough since her return. That's a good thing. We'll see how it fares after. So then Darby attacked Brandon Cutler in the back, challenged the Elites for Dynamite 250. So good that Darby's back. First time we see him since Double or Nothing. So yeah, great thing. And then the main event, Brian May versus Will Nightingale. Will Nightingale, homage to Owen, even though she didn't wear black and pink. Her colors and her gear kind of match, Owen Hart inspired gear. So, interesting homage. So, now the match was okay. Chris Statlander and Stokely did make an appearance as expected, but it didn't really cause the match. So, in the end, Will had the advantage, but ultimately Mariah May, you knew was going to win. She won with a roll-up, sign of respect with Willow, and match has been made. So, Toni Storm, Mariah May, all happy, all giggles, the graphic and stuff. They're hugging, they're prancing up the ramp, skipping up, all happy, and then so we did not see Martha Hart for good reason. So Mariah May grabbed the title that was around the trophy. Tony was happy, and then just like that, Mariah May attacks her, blindsides her with the title, and I was shook. I mean, kind of felt like a turn was going to happen, one on the other. You just didn't know when. So, so Mariah May laid out Tony with the title, and then Mariah knocked Luther off the stage through a table, which took him out, and then ironic as so Toni Storm was busted open, and Tony's catchphrase, watch for the shoe, watch for the shoe. Well, Mariah May didn't see to beat her with the heel and bust her open, and just a psychotic sight to see at the end of Dynamite. I don't know what to say. Mariah May, she had Tony's blood on her cheek as she was just looking off into the camera, and then beautiful picturette in the background as the graphic of Toni Storm versus Mariah May. It was great. A phenomenal ending. You don't know what to say. So, and that is how we lead, or we get the train rolling going into Wembley. As Mariah May has turned on Toni Storm, or turned against, whichever, and the ball is rolling. How does it fare in the next couple weeks? With Toni being betrayed, with Mariah May explaining her actions, has this been her plan? One hell of an ending to Dynamite. Not sure what to say, but yeah. So we got a month in the company until Wembley, so it's gonna be a fun ride. But yeah, that is Dynamite for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe. If you guys like this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up as well. Also hit the like button, whichever. Want to say, comment down below if you guys have any feedback, etc. Open to it. But yeah, up to 51. Try to get it rolling. But yeah, I love you guys. Be safe. AEW Dynamite is fantastic, particularly the ending. Hope you guys enjoy it. See you guys next time. Peace.